So, hello everybody. Today we're going to be reviewing Season 2, Episode 2 of The Flash. The Flash from Two Worlds. I can't believe how many times I've had to edit that. But anyway, so let's get started. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And comment down below what video you want me to do. And then the first person to do that gets their video per week. Although, one thing. One guy, I forgot his name, but he has a YouTube channel, and he's the first one to subscribe, so go follow him. And he left a comment below. He said MCU vids, so I just decided to start a review series. I will do that I'll start that in my next video, but normally I won't be doing that. It's just he suggested it, and it was my first time, so this might be the only time I'm gonna do that. But without getting started, I want to note something. I don't have a very strong opinion on this episode like I did for episode 1. You could check that video. It'll be in I'll put a bunch of playlists in the description below, as well as a channel that I know I've seen him do Flash. He doesn't do episode reviews like mine, but I check him out on the channel's page in my channel. It's called Sean Chandler Talks. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started! Okay, that's cringy, but anyway, so we're gonna start off with
the good.
Okay, so I think the great in this episode is all the stuff that's introduced, like Earth 2, Jay Eric as the Flash from that world. I'll get into that a little bit later. And you also have whatchamacallit. You get introduced to Zoom. It's introduced okay. It could have been better, but I can get over that. And then also another thing is that the action's pretty good, but it's not the best. San Dimon's an okay villain, but then you have and then also one thing that Adam Smasher does, and I do think San Dimon is better than Adam Smasher, so I guess he's an okay villain. So Adam Smasher said something about Zoom at the very end of the episode, right before Jay Eric comes in, like about a minute, I guess. And then they build on that really nicely. It builds on a lot of things that this episode did. Than the last episode I did, I mean. But yeah, I think there's some great stuff in this episode. The action's good, and yeah. Okay, so now we have the mixed stuff. Again, I think, like I said earlier, I don't really have a huge, strong opinion on this episode, but I think the biggest mixed thing is that some of the characters, especially Joe, are acting very off-key. Like, he does act like that sometimes, but he doesn't act, it just makes him kind of unlikable, the way he's acting. And you're meant to like Joe. And I guess Barry, he's kind of acting a little bit weird, but I can get over Barry a little bit more because they, as I said, they continued some plot lines, they pulled some plot lines from season 1, and then ended up in season 2. So, like, I don't really like the way, the episode 1, continued the Wells plotline, but I like the way both episodes continued the Reverse Flash plotline. There's a difference. So the Reverse Flash, the reason why Barry doesn't trust Jay Eric is because he thinks he might be similar to what this might happen to what he did to what happened in season 1 with the Reverse Flash. But, so, you have that, but I feel like a lot of the way, it just has some of that, the characters act a bit off-key. It's kind of similar to the way, like, they've been acting before, but makes just the characters kind of unlikable. And I don't really like that, but I can kind of get over that, and that's why it's not in the bad stuff. Okay, so now we have the bad. Okay, the only bad thing I have with this episode, I can kind of get over it, is the way they introduce Patty Spivot, the officer that ends up dating Barry in the next few episodes. The only problem I have with it is, like, she just wants to get in the police office, and you really just don't figure out why until the end of the episode. And I think the big problem is, when you think about it, if you're just watching this episode, and the next few, it's fine. But once you watch the episode where she arrests the guy that kills her dad, then the plot line just starts to get a bit worse because I actually think the way they introduced her is not bad, but it just feels a little bit like they kind of rushed it. I think they should have, like, took it step by step. I can get over it. I wish they But I wish they kind of did it in the third episode instead of this one, because it feels like this episode is already crowded enough. Although I do like it that she gets captured, but I feel like they could have done that in a different episode. Because it didn't really hit you on an emotional level. And really, a lot of the problems with this episode come back to later in the season. So I guess you could say that the problems with it, a lot of the plot lines, especially the Patty Spivot plotline, don't really age well. I guess that's the way you could put it. Or they're not quite continued to later in the season. So it just doesn't hit you on any emotional level at all. And she doesn't seem likable. And it doesn't feel like you should care about her at this point. Until she starts dating Barry. That's the only... And then you want him to tell... And then she's kind of unlikable. And same with Barry. So, and then it just gets... But that's probably one of my biggest issues with the season. Overall, I can kind of get over it. But... Because this is one of the best episodes of the season, in my opinion. But this has never been an episode I feel like well, I shouldn't say that, but this is not really an episode of this season that I have a strong opinion on. So anyway, did you guys enjoy The Flash? Let me know in the comments below. Or did you enjoy this episode? And also, I forgot to ask for episode 1, but tell me in the comments if you enjoyed those. Or you can comment down below in that video. I read your comments and every week. And if you comment down below, I'll be happy to read them. So, adios.